So, on leg days, I like to get prepared with lots of carbs in my system as much as possible beforehand. Typically, what I do is a low carb diet, strictly, proteins, fats, some carbs throughout the day. My job just keeps me so busy, I don't really have time or location to heat up the carbs that I want to get in my system. But nonetheless, I just go without a lot of carbs a lot of the time. So I kind of carb cycle depending on the situation. Today, it's my weekend. So I got to sleep in, I got to prepare a decent breakfast. And this is only part of it. This is before church. This is the carbs and the proteins that I need to get me through the morning. And then when I get home, I will prepare my pre-gym meal, which I will show you at that time. But right now, 4 eggs, one with the yolk, and 2 slices of toast. This is a good start. Not enough for sure. So like I said, when I get home from the gym, I will be preparing meal number 2 for that. All right. So my devotional before I go to the gym, I was listening to something on this last night, and I really started thinking about it. So it's Hebrews 11, verse 1. Now faith is the reality of what is hoped for, the proof of what is not seen. For our ancestors won God's approval by it. Faith. This statement alone basically says there's things that are not seen, there's no evidence for it, right? There's a reality of things hoped for. The hope is real, it's within us, right? And proof of what is not seen, in other words, there's no evidence. There's no evidence to say that what we're hoping for can happen, should happen, will happen, right? There's zero evidence corresponding to what we are hoping for, what we're believing in, but we have faith that we're storing up within ourselves, right? It even says, for our ancestors won God's approval by it. They won God's approval by how? By having faith. Faith that things can happen that shouldn't happen, that there's zero evidence for, but we're having faith in our God, our Creator, that He can do these amazing things. It's an understanding of who He is, what He wants for us, His character, His love towards us, right? So all of this is putting our hope, a hope, in God, our Creator, that He can and will do something in our lives. And we just stand on that, right? That mustard seed, that called for the mustard seed that Jesus gives us, right? What do you do with the mustard seed? You have to plant it. And what happens with a seed? It takes time. It takes time for that thing to sprout, to flourish, to be fruitful. Some trees aren't even fruitful for the first couple years, right? But we have to take that mustard seed of faith. And sometimes we get immediate results. Sometimes the mountain moves immediately. Sometimes, though, we have to plant that seed and we have to stand on it like the rest of our ancestors through the Bible, right? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, they all had promises. Not a lot of them were fulfilled immediately. Some things were, absolutely. But a lot of the times, especially through these stories, it took years, decades for things to be accomplished that they were hoping for, that they had their hope in. They stood on promises, right? And then they stood on the character of God. Abraham, right? He knew that if he sacrificed his son, God could raise him from the dead again. He had a knowledge of God, who He is, how powerful He is, what He wanted for Abraham, because He promised him you were going to have a lineage, a line of people from this child, right? So he knew the promises, he knew the character of God, he knew God's power and might and ability, and he stood on that and he acted in faith, right? Sometimes He gives us what we're standing for in faith immediately. Sometimes He takes His time, but we have to stand, we have to plant that seed, we have to water it, we have to speak life over it, we have to monitor it, and we have to stand with it to get the promises that we're hoping in and for. This life is not going to get any easier as the dark days approach, right? And we're going to need to stand on new levels of faith, stand on new levels of understanding God and our relationship with Him. And I hope that this encourages you to have faith in some of the promises that God has promised you specifically in your life, but also that you would take time to have a better understanding of who God is from the Scriptures, to know that when He gives a promise, When we stand in faith, he loves that. It says our ancestors won God's approval by it. You want to be approved by God. What are you having faith in right now? Is it nothing? Because I've done that. I've done that for years, where I've stood on a faith of nothing. And I just hoped something, a non-directional direction, right? And you set yourself up for failure when you don't have purpose, when you don't have direction. But when you have purpose, when you have hope in that thing, then God begins to move behind the scenes, because God wants you to succeed. God wants to love you. God wants to cause his children to flourish and be strong and be lights in this world. So take heart, grow in your faith. All right, guys, I'll see you in the gym. All right, guys, this is one of my favorite pre-gym meals. It has 10 grams of protein per packet and 28 grams of carbs per packet. So 56 grams of carbs and 20 grams of protein. I'm going to drink both of these. I hate thick oatmeal, and I used to do rice before the gym. But rice would just sit in my stomach. And I would be doing leg presses or bench press, and I would just burp, and I taste rice, the pressure on my stomach. I taste the rice, like it just stuck with me way too long digesting it. Even if I gave it an hour and a half, I'm like still holding on to it. But this stuff, I mean, I don't like it thick at all, so I pour enough water where I can just drink it down in like less than 2 minutes, and it's in my system. I wait an hour and I hit the gym. So that's what I'm doing right now. I suggest you do something similar. You need carbs. If you're pushing hard, if you're trying to grow, if you're trying to, build some muscle, and you need endurance, you need strength, you need fuel for the system before you even get in the gym. You need to do this 30, 40, an hour and a half before the gym, depending on your digestion, how long it takes for you individually to get this in your bloodstream. So I do this 45 minutes to an hour before I go. And then I do my pre-workout 30 minutes to 10 minutes before I go. So here we go. All right, as for my pre-workout, so right post carbohydrates, 30 minutes before I hit the gym. Sometimes I drink it in the parking lot. I drink it as I'm seated on the machine already. I mean, it really depends on mood, how long I've got in between, different things I've got to do throughout the day. So if I have enough time, I try and get this in my system 30 minutes before I get to the gym. Right now, I have superhuman pumps and CBum. And I will say, I'm not sponsored by anything, right? I'm just giving my general honest review as someone who's been working out and taking a lot of different pre-workouts over time. There's two pre-workouts that I keep coming back to. I tested these because I tried the individual bottle of the CBum. I really liked it, not realizing that it was 2 scoops per cup, right? And I don't like products that are 2 scoops per cup, per serving, because, I mean, economically, like, I just can't buy a 20 scoop bottle. Like, that doesn't work for me. So I work typically with just 1 scoop. Thing is, 1 scoop of this is all right. It burns out in my system too quickly. It doesn't feel like it provides me with a lot of endurance. Superhuman pumps is kind of just like an average pump. I don't find anything spectacular about it. Either of these products, they're all right. If you're a beginner, absolutely this will get the job done for you. I wouldn't recommend against it. Just for me, I don't really like it. The 2 that I still have the bottles on hand, because there's a little bit left in the bottom of them, and I don't have the heart to throw it away, and I just need to scoop it out the bottom and actually drink it. Sicario and El Jefe. I keep coming back to these products time and time again. I don't know how many different pre-workouts that I've purchased over time, but these two I keep coming back to, and they're always good. Even I had some solid scoops left at the bottom of this when I purchased this, and I was trying these out because I was giving my brother an honest review. And after maybe 2 or 3 weeks of using these products, I went back to using this product. And I know it hasn't been in the system in a while, so, but it hit, and it was like that old feeling of like, oh yeah, this is what a solid pre-workout feels like, and it keeps me going. I have the endurance. I'll be honest, a lot of people say, go for an hour. You can do your workout in an hour to 45 minutes. I'm not that kind of person. I love working out. For me, working out is a passion. It's an art. I'm always perfecting it, always getting better at it, right? So when I go for an hour and a half to minimum. Maybe it's a lazy day or a body part I don't really care about, hour and a half minimum, or maybe I don't have enough workouts for that body part type. Still an hour and a half. And then, days that I'm really into it and really in the mood and I just keep going, I'm in there for 2 hours. And then I'll do cardio after or sauna sessions. So for me, I love to work out long periods of time. I do not like short workouts. It's just, I enjoy it. It's like fishing for me, right? So that's my point being, is that Sicario and El Jefe, that lasts me for that hour and a half, 2 hours. I don't have to worry about the crash or the slowdown through the process. But with C-Bums and the Super Pre, I do feel a crash after about an hour, and it's pretty significant. And I'm like, man, there's no endurance like these other ones. But anyway, I'm out of them. These are pretty much empty, like I said, so I need to reorder those ones, and then I'm going to use these until they're gone. But anyway, my point is, pre-workouts are a great idea. And you got to find the one that works for you. And sometimes that's trial and error, but if you're going to go down this road working out and making it a lifetime journey of fitness and enjoying it, you got to have some supplements along the way that help you to keep always pushing harder than last time, right? All right, next up, we'll be going to the gym. So I'll see you there. You're desperate for your pre-workout when you scrape the sides for the last bit of what was too humid to leave the bottle. the gym, I was there way too long. After legs, I did abs and obliques. Not a lot, but enough to, like, I'm exhausted. I do not have enough carbohydrates in my system to go on that long. Even though I was talking about that earlier, like, I did not have enough for the amount of time I spent in there. But right now, we're around rice. So I'm gonna heat this up along with some eggs, because that just sounds easy right now. And I just have to cook a few eggs, throw it together, and I will show you my post-workout meal. All right, I changed my mind on the eggs. I had eggs this morning. I've had too much eggs lately. So I had a pack of chicken tenders, which I just threw in the air fryer. If you haven't seen that video, it's not great by any means, but I just run down how quick and easy I make my chicken tenders. So I just threw some chicken tenders in the air fryer. Now I got those ready. That brown rice and quinoa, and this is a solid post-gym lunch. Everything's all fun and games wearing a black tee to the gym until you go to take it off. You're in Texas. You have to deal with that struggle every time. I, like many bodybuilders, in the beginning, you work out all the glory muscles, all the ones you love to see and hit, and then, like, as you mature in bodybuilding, you fall in love with, like, other body parts that you've never worked out before, right? It's like a whole journey of, like, learning to love the whole thing, right? So legs and my back, I have been working on them both. I have historically focused on chest and arms. Not that they're entirely where I want them to be. This is a whole journey, and it's fun for me. And I'm not expecting perfection. I'm just having fun with the journey and enjoying watching myself grow and mature and, take on new muscles and muscle fibers that I've never seen before. I mean, that's fun for me. So that being said, this is a journey. This is a journey for every one of us. For, the beginner out there and the intermediates and the advanced. And we've all got something to learn from each other. And it's a fun, interesting journey. And I'm just showing you and taking you along the way with me as I go through this. I'm gonna be posting other videos, other workouts. I just love working out. I love motivating and helping people. So I hope this reaches, the people it needs to. If you dig my vibe as it is, come back. Let's take this journey on together. That was leg day. I know I didn't get much video. I'm not used to having to record myself suddenly in the middle of a gym. And also, I don't have a videographer. I don't. But this is my first vlog. So on this one, it's gonna be rough, but it's a learning experience for me. And I think it'll be fun to try and slice this all together. I'm sure when you're watching this, you're seeing the end results, but that's where I'm at with this journey. All right, until next time, later.